Update. Would I be the a-hole if I move out of our apartment knowing my fiancé and his mom can't afford it without me? Original post. I, female 29, and my ex, fiancé, male 27, have been living together for about 1.5 years. My fiancé got his undergraduate degree, worked for a couple of years, and then decided to get an MBA, which is how he ended up in our city. We moved in together after he finished his MBA program. My fiancé is from the Midwest, and his mom has always wanted him to move back. When I told her he was staying here, she was heartbroken. I went to college and got my degree in a STEM field. After I graduated, I got a job with my current company and moved to the city where we currently live. It's a big international company with multiple locations in the US and internationally. I love my job. I like the company I work for, and it pays pretty good. All in all, a pretty good deal. During COVID, my office shut down, and we all went working from home. After COVID, they decided not to reopen this office, so I've been 100% working from home since early 2020. I currently make considerably more than him, mainly because I've been working for 7 years and I'm in tech. I had been living by myself in a 1-bedroom apartment and just had my office set up in the living room since it was just me. When we moved in together, we decided to get a 2-bedroom apartment so I could use the extra room as an office. Because of this, I was paying 2/3 of the rent, and he paid the remaining third. We split everything else 50-50. So the problem started this past May. My fiancé's mom told him she wanted to move to our city to be closer to him. She asked if she could stay with us while she looked for a job and got settled. She's a teacher, so she figured she'd be able to get a teaching job pretty quickly. Because of that, I didn't really mind her staying with us, as I figured it would just be for a couple of months over the summer. Since I thought it would only be for a couple of months, I moved my office into a corner of our bedroom, and my fiancé bought a bed to put in the second bedroom. The problem is, she never applied for any teaching positions, and has been living with us for 6 months now. She and I have really been struggling with each other since she moved in. I can't make her understand that I work full-time. She constantly interrupts me while I'm working, which is bad enough, but she even interrupts when I'm on team calls. She always asks me to take her places because she doesn't like to drive in our city. She has pretty outdated views on gender roles and is constantly giving me a hard time for not doing more around the house, and for making my fiancé help with chores, do his laundry, etc. The constant criticism and insults are just really wearing me down. And I hate having my office shoved in a corner of the bedroom. Back in September, I told my fiancé that since it looks like his mom is going to stay a while, we should split the rent 3 ways. He told me she can't afford that, since she has to conserve money until she gets a job. I told him I wasn't happy paying extra for a bedroom I can't use, so finally, he said we could do a 50-50 split. I could afford to pay the extra, but I hate the idea of funding her lifestyle. Every time I complain about her or the situation, he says he agrees but doesn't know what to do because he can't kick out his mom, and he won't talk to her about the way she treats me or how she behaves. When I ask what the long-term plan is, he just says he doesn't know. I've thought about giving him an ultimatum to tell her she has to leave, but I think it just ended up presenting me for essentially putting his mom on the street. So, one of my girlfriends is losing her roommate at the end of February. Our lease renews June 1st. I'm very strongly considering moving out of our apartment and moving in with her. I can afford to pay my part of the rent in our current apartment and also half the rent at my friend's apartment. It's not ideal, but I'm not a big spender, so it's doable. The issue is, if he and his mom aren't able to pay for 1/3 of the rent each, there is no way they could cover the whole thing on their own. But I can't live like this anymore, so I'm pretty sure this is what I'll do. But I wanted to see if people thought I'd be the a-hole for leaving them like this. Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. His mom is the biggest a-hole because she specifically planned this. It isn't that she's had bad luck. She didn't even apply. Add in that she doesn't respect your workspace and insults you. She's basically trying to be the matriarch of the house while being a complete mooch. The biggest problem is your fiancé though. This is just a glimpse of your future with a mama's boy. He's made it clear that he is okay with her walking all over you, and she is not leaving. You're going to end up as a third wheel in your own marriage. I agree. His mom is taking advantage and your fiancé isn't setting boundaries. It's a big concern for the future. You deserve better, not the a-hole. It sounds like it would be best for you to be honest. Mom isn't being evicted. You guys can keep dating while living separately, and your work will not be disturbed. Or why not just find a studio flat for mom? I've suggested we find something for her and even suggested we could help her out with rent until she gets a job. But I get the same answer no matter what. She has to conserve money, so she can't spend any more than she already is, which is zero. Is he going to be your ex because of this situation? Or was he already an ex? Either way, not the a-hole. But I was just thinking, if you move out, maybe he will see what he lost and be more motivated to get rid of his mom. That way, he won't resent you for it. He's probably going to be my ex because of this situation. Before she showed up, everything was good. But since she got here, it's been a crap show. Honestly, at this point, we're just two roommates that happen to sleep in the same bed. I can't even remember the last time we had personal time because she's always around, always watching TV in the living room on the other side of our bedroom wall. Now for the update. I started off trying to reply to everyone's comments and keep up, but honestly, I just got completely overwhelmed with all the responses. First off, I want to thank everyone for their feedback and comments, even the ones that were kind of harsh. Actually, probably especially the ones that were kind of harsh. I really needed some tough love to make me realize that I was letting my soon-to-be ex and his mom take advantage of me. The more comments I read, the angrier I got. Honestly, I think I'm more angry at myself for allowing this to happen and not advocating for myself more. This past weekend, I got my soon-to-be ex alone so we could talk, which was actually harder than it should have been because his mom always tries to tag along when we do anything. Going through all the comments everyone left and the PMs people sent really helped me decide how to approach this. And also, it brought up a lot of good questions I should have thought of myself. Back to the discussion with the ex. I wanted to give him one more chance to pick us over his mom, not because I thought he would, but because I just wanted to be able to tell myself I gave him the opportunity. I explained again how unhappy I am with the situation, how it's affecting my work because of her constant interruptions, and how uncomfortable and unhappy I am being forced to work out of a corner in our bedroom. I reminded him that until a few months ago, I was paying the majority of the rent. And being that I make so much more than him, it's really my salary that keeps us all afloat. I also brought up, again, the way she treats me and talks to me. And he replied the same way he always has. He agrees it's not right how she acts, and that it's really uncomfortable for all of us. WTF. I don't care if she's uncomfortable. Previously, I would have dropped it there. But this time, I told him how angry and disappointed I was that he let me pay for 2/3 of the rent when she first moved in, and how unfair it was that I'm still paying for half when there are 3 people living there, and she's the only one with her own bedroom. It was the same story. She has to conserve money since she doesn't have any income currently. Which brought up the question, where did all her stuff go when she moved? And what money does she use for incidentals? So evidently, when she got divorced, she asked for the divorce after my ex went off to college. It doesn't sound like her husband/ex's dad wanted a divorce. His dad bought her out of the equity in their house. Ex didn't have any idea how much that was or how much is left. But until she moved here, she was working full-time as a teacher and living in a small apartment, so she should not have had to tap into the divorce settlement money very much. Other than that, ex didn't have much insight into her finances, other than what she told him, that she has to conserve money. I told him straight up that I'm moving out before the end of the month, and from now on, I'm only paying 25%. As some of the commenters pointed out, she has a whole bedroom while I have to share with a man-child, so she should have to pay twice as much. After I move out, I'm not paying for anything else. No utilities, no food, nothing other than rent. I have a pretty good idea of what his finances are like, and if he has to pay 75% of the rent all by himself, it's going to take a huge chunk of his net income. And after he pays utilities and buys groceries, there won't be anything left for incidentals. Rent was due on the 1st, but it's not late until after the 5th, so he has 2 days to come up with the money. If he doesn't come up with it and I end up covering, then I'll reduce the amount I pay in the future months. The only reason I'm going to keep paying any of the rent is that, even after I move out, I'm still on the hook. I talked to the leasing office and they explained that since X and I signed a single rental agreement together, for example, one contract we both signed as opposed to two contracts we signed individually, we are both responsible for the rent. They don't care who actually pays, as long as it gets paid. The only alternative would be if he agrees to sign a new lease by himself, or together with his mom. But in all likelihood, he wouldn't be able to pass the credit check on his own, so I'm kind of stuck. I don't think he'll do anything stupid though, because he's going to need to find some place to live after this, and a collection on his credit reports wouldn't be good. I also told him that I'm going to find some place to work during the day until I move so she can't bother me. My friend, who I'm moving in with, said I could work during the day since she and her current roommate have an in-person 9-to-5s. I took her up on that for now. After living with his mom, I'm not about to overstay my welcome, so I'm going to find some other options that I can rotate through. Someone suggested checking out the public library, or if it comes to it, I'll get a membership at one of those WeWork type places. Just in case, I brought my important papers/files/valuables, and my friend is storing them for me until I move in. He really didn't take it well. The surprising thing to me is that he was surprised by everything. He seemed really shocked that I wasn't prioritizing his mom. I really got the feeling that he sincerely believed I wanted to take care of her as much as him, and he kept saying stuff like, "What about my mom? What am I going to tell her? That's how she is, but we still need to help her," etc. He asked about our relationship and the engagement. I told him that after I move out, I need some space from him. In a few months, when we've both had some time/space to process what happened, if we both agree, we can talk about the relationship. But I'd have to prove that he's going to have my back going forward and will set boundaries with his mom. I told him that just to avoid more drama, but I don't see a future in which we are together. I told him he needs to tell his mom because she's not my responsibility or problem, and she'll know something's up when I start moving my stuff out. He hasn't told her what's going on yet, but this weekend, I'm going to start moving things, so he doesn't have much time. My friend's current roommate starts a new job in another state on the 3rd, so in reality, I can probably move in 2 to 3 weeks, just depending on when she actually leaves. I don't expect him to do anything bad other than sulk and complain, but if he does something stupid or doesn't pay his part of the rent, the ace up my sleeve is that I'll tell the leasing office his mom moved in, which is prohibited in the lease. Honestly, getting evicted would solve a lot of my problems right now, so it's a pretty valid threat, I think. Now that I've mentally and emotionally separated myself from him and his mom, I'm looking forward to her reaction when he tells her what's going on. If it gets too ugly, I'll find a cheap Airbnb or a hotel or something. I've had some friends, including the one I'm moving in with, offer to let me couch surf for a few weeks, but I just can't do that to someone else. So that's it. I'm leaving, and I really don't care how that affects them. Notify your landlord in writing that you are moving out and to take you off the lease after June 1. You wouldn't want to do nothing and accidentally trigger an automatic renewal. Already did that. I did it before I went to talk to the front office and confirmed that they received it while I was down there. I hope you took video or pics to prove the state of the place before you left. You did the right thing. You deserve better and you deserve to be happy. You're at the end of a long and painful process, but I'm sure that you will be the better for it. Good luck. Dude should really just marry his mom. She gave him every chance to step up. He failed. His mother is his problem, not her. Last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister out to teach her a lesson after she disrespected me and my wife? My sister is 20 and I am 27. My sister lives with my parents, but she also visits me to spend time with me. After my marriage, I moved out, so she stays with me for a few weeks every now and then. My sister has never acted like this before, so I am wondering if I went too far by kicking her out. My sister came over 4 days ago. I love my sister and my wife adores her, so I have no idea why she was acting so disrespectful towards us. The thing is, my wife has hurt her ankle, and the shoes she used to wear caused a lot of pain in her toes. We went to the doctor and he suggested she do light massages to relieve her pain, So I help her by massaging her feet and toes. But my sister laughed at me for doing so. When I asked her what was so funny about it, she said I am a weak man for doing this for my wife, and that no husband should do something so embarrassing for his wife. She asked me if I was not ashamed. She even said to my wife, "How could you ask him to do something like this?" and claimed my wife was using me, and that she sucks for it, and that I'm a fool for tolerating this. I told my sister what she said was disrespectful to us, and that I am ashamed that she thinks so lowly of us. I told her there is nothing shameful about helping your partner when they are in pain. I'm a family man, and it's my responsibility to help my wife, my sister, and our parents. I ended up asking my sister to leave. She was angry at me, and now my parents are saying that I went too far and should have done something else to teach my little sister a lesson because she comes first, and it's my responsibility to take care of her as her big brother. My wife cried and said maybe I shouldn't have massaged her in my sister's presence, and she feels guilty for causing a rift between me and my sister. I comforted her and told her she's not at fault. It's my sister's behavior that caused so much trouble in our life. Now for the comments. I should have done something else to teach my little sister a lesson because she comes first, and it's my responsibility to take care of her as her big brother. No, she does not. And you need to tell your parents that in no uncertain terms. She does not come first in your home and never ever will. It is not your responsibility to take care of her. She isn't your child, and she's an adult. An adult with really bad manners, but an adult nonetheless. Tell your parents and sister that she is not welcome in your home until she makes a very sincere apology for her terrible behavior. And if any similar disrespect were to happen again, she would never be welcome in your home ever again. OP should also tell his parents to check themselves because they're expecting him to support them when their spawn can't even respect him and his wife. I tell them all there's no money until they give a genuine apology and leave the 1950s BS where it belongs. Your sister has major issues and should not be welcomed back into your home. Not the a-hole. Well, I don't think I would want to forbid her from coming to my house just yet. But if her behavior and her thought process don't change, I will be left with no other choice but to forbid her. I love my sister, but my wife said my mental health also matter. She's no longer 14, talking crap to her brother and getting away with it. My wife and I are already stressed enough, mostly financially, and helping my parents financially has been stressful. Kid, your sister is a 20-year-old adult and an a-hole, but your parents are stupid and plain crap. What lesson do you have to teach an adult woman? The lessons to be a good, respectful, and productive woman should have come from them. They are the ones failing at raising her by putting her above you. Your wife is your priority. Your sister is dumb, but your parents are the real a-holes in this story. No surprise your sister ended up like that.